And now, if that sounds a little familiar, the Westlake High School alma mater. Welcome to the field, the Hayes Rebels and the Westlake Chaparrals. Captains are now meeting at midfield for the coin toss. Representing the Hayes Rebels, number 16, Kyle Kimbrough, number 32, Ty Calvin, and number 53, Josh Kabia. For the Chaparrals, number 8, Hunter Coleman, number 44, Joey Thomas, number 49, Mark Maroney, and number 65, Gino Troy. We'll listen in to the referee. Hayes wins the toss and elects to decline. Chaparrals elect to receive. The Rebels will defend the north goal. Referees for tonight's game are Melvin Lindsay is the referee. Jeff Tucker is the umpire. Tim LaFuente is the linesman. Jake Payne.
Stadium. Mark Honig, John Medani, Chuck Licata. Glad you're with us tonight. The Westlake Chaparrals undefeated in district play at 4-0, while the Hayes Rebels struggling a little bit this season at 1-3 in district play. They are 3-4 overall. Before we get this thing started, John Medani, your keys to the game, starting with the Hayes Rebels.
Well, I think it's very simple, Mark. First of all, I think they absolutely need to establish the run. It sounds like a no-brainer, but I know their offensive philosophy has always been to try to be balanced as possible. I know they want to throw the ball, and why shouldn't they? They have an excellent weapon at quarterback in Kimbrough, but I really think when you look at Calvin and Mayberry, combined, they average almost 7.5 yards a carry. I don't think that could do damage on a wet night like tonight. Number 2, avoid the big play. This is mostly for their defense. 8 minutes into the game last week against Austin High, they were down 20-0. They gave up touchdowns of 39, 30, 23, and 20 yards last week, and Westlake is an offense that can hit the big play. Finally, hold on to the pigskin. 3 fumbles a week ago. It's wet here tonight. The turf is slick. Hayes needs to hold on to it.
Well, the Westlake Chaparrals will receive and move from our right to our left. The Chaps in their home red uniforms with white numerals, silver pants with white stripes. Of course, the customary silver helmets with the red W. And now the Westlake keys before we get this thing underway, John.
I think established Tyler Campbell, only 9 carries last week. He averaged 7 yards a pop. Number 2, hold on to the pigskin. Big night for Joey Thomas, I think, tonight. Let's watch him as the game goes on.
And the opening kickoff from Travis Reynolds bounces into the end zone, and the Chaps will take over from their own 20. John, did you finish those keys?
Well, pretty much. Hold on to the football goes for both sides. The main point was Joey Thomas. I just think, 3 catches last week, 2 of them for touchdowns, and against a Hayes team that has been susceptible to big play, that's a formula I can't overlook.
Westlake Chaps take over, and the quarterback is Turner Wimberly, after rotating quarterbacks a week ago, and now just like that we have flags and whistles. So perhaps
dead ball, substitution, infraction of offense.
Well, I was going to say perhaps too many guys on the field. There's somebody late getting off. Our officials, the referee is Melvin Lindsay. The ump is Jeff Tucker. Head linesman Tim LaFuente. The line judge is Jake Payne, and the back judge is Mark Thompson. Westlake Chaparral offense goes like this. Up front, from left to right, Matt Crozier, Ryan Lucas, Justin Bowles, Gino Troy at right guard, the 305-pound senior, and the right tackle is Carl Olson. Wimberly, the sophomore quarterback, behind him, Matthew Scott and Tyler Campbell. On first down, it's a handoff up the middle, and spinning forward for a couple of yards up to the 19-yard line is actually Jim Slutz. So Slutz gets the start in place of Matthew Scott. Surprisingly, Matthew Scott has not found the end zone this season after scoring several times a year ago. Rounding out that Westlake offense, Aaron Garza, 23 catches on the season for 550 yards. And the dangerous tight end, Joey Thomas, 6'5", 220 pounds. Now it is second down, 11 yards to go after picking up 4 on first down. And Tyler Campbell gets the call, sidesteps a man, lunges forward across the 25 up to the 28. A gain of close to 9 yards on the play, so third and short coming up. Hayes plays the 5-2, John Medani with the defense.
Across the front, Mark left to right. Daniel Herron is the left end. Next to him will be Luke McQuaig. Jeff Diaz is the nose. Travis Reynolds at right tackle, and Ronald Green is the end. Linebackers are Ryan Greason and Jordan Preston. Adam Cuellar, the start at corner. At one corner, Ty Calvin, he's playing both ways. He's the other corner. Tommy Garcia and Tristan Mayberry are the safeties.
Third down, call it a yard to go for the Chaps. The wide side of the field at the right side as Wimberly hands off to Campbell. He's in the grasp and very close to a first down as he's right at that 30-yard line, and that's where the sticks are. The officials will stop the clock with 10:42 remaining in the opening quarter for a measurement. Or did they just wave it? I guess they said first down. They gave him first down. So there you have it, the Westlake offense and the Hayes defense. The Chaparral offense averages 361 total yards a game. And on first down, it's a handoff up the middle. Running hard is Slutz, plunging across the 35 for a gain of 6 before he's tackled by Preston Jordan. This Hayes defense, John, gives up a little bit more points, some more points than Bob Shelton would like. They allow 23 points per game, so they are susceptible to the big play and also to giving up a lot of points.
Yeah, they've only scored 13 more points the whole season. They've given up, and I know that that's not usually the case down in the Buda area.
Second down, about 4.5 to go from the Westlake 35-yard line. Wimberly to pass into traffic for Thomas, in and out of his hands, at the Hayes 35-yard line. And, John, that's one he would love to have back on the coverage, Tommy Garcia.
Well, I think that might be the first pass I've seen him drop this season. And you had a feeling when you took a look at the defenses and you looked at what Westlake likes to do offensively, I just had a feeling that Joey Thomas would be a target, that he would have a big game. Nothing wrong with that pass. It was right on the money. You have to wonder if maybe some of that driving mist might have gotten Mr. Thomas's eyes.
A little bit more than 2 minutes gone from Chaparral Stadium. No score. Westlake with it for the first time. Twins to the right. Now Bailey in motion to the right as Wimberly rolls out to the right, gets a block from Campbell, tosses it out, and overshoots Bailey. It falls incomplete. And at third and a little bit less than 5, the Westlake Chaps will be forced to punt. And, John, they only punted one time a week ago against Crockett.
Yeah, that's good news, bad news. I guess if you're the Hayes Rebels, it's great that you got to stop and you were able to avoid an opening touchdown drive. But at the same time, they have to know that they're pretty lucky that Mr. Thomas dropped the football.
Well, Gray will punt it away for the Chaps, but before that we have flags and whistles once again.
Well, you got to assume a substitution penalty again.
Dead ball. Substitution infraction on the defense.
I say that just because there's no other penalty that could have been had there, and that's a first down.
Well, that's a big break for the Chaparrals. You're right. It does give them a first
unbelievable.
down.
Now, we saw Coach Schrader very, very upset when they got called for it. And you're trying to spy across the field. And Bob Shelton has his palms turned upwards as if to say, would somebody please come explain why we just gave up a first down?
Well, and you have to like the fact that they're calling it both ways, I guess.
Well, there's no doubt about that.
From the 40-yard line, the Chaps still with it on offense. Then short drop, Wimberly loses his footing. Now he'll scramble and try to run. Stiff arms a man at the 45 and jolted out of bounds at the 47. A pickup of 7, and he put a stiff arm on Ryan Greason, the 5'9", 195-pound junior that enabled him to spring free and pick up 7 along the right side.
Didn't know Turner could do that. It was a pretty nice move.
That was a nice stiff arm, but as we noticed in warm-ups, John, footing could be an issue in this thing.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, we saw him in warm-ups. Now, honestly, it did look like Hayes was having a little bit more trouble with the footing. I saw more guys in white slip down than guys in red.
Line of scrimmage just across the Westlake 47. Campbell in motion to the left. That's the direction Wimberly's looking, but they'll stop the play once again. So the officials very involved early in this opening quarter, John Medina.
Well, it's cold out there.
Well, I don't know. I mean, we're in here in the booth, and it was, a false start on the offense. Here's our referee.
Before the snap, false start, offense.
That's interesting. I don't know who they would call that on. Campbell, I should say, was in motion, but he was going at a tortoise's pace because he wanted to be sure not to run into his teammate, who was back lined up in a slot position. So,
well, this drive's still alive. 8:52 to play first quarter. No score from Chaparral Stadium. Pretty good crowd on hand despite the weather. Same exact formation. Campbell in motion to the left. Wimberly needs a block, gets one from Slutch. Now he's in trouble. He'll zigzag through the defense and break outside. He's got room across midfield. Has the first down and 5 yards more as he's slung down at the 46-yard line by Luke McQuaid. But not before a pickup of 13, and Wimberly making something out of nothing, John Medina.
Well, you know what? They got good pressure up front. They got a nice push from the front line. They disrupted the play. Wimberly was not able to step up and fire the football, but it was just a better improvisational play by Wimberly. He got out of trouble. He had a couple of nice ones. He got out of harm's way 3 times on that run, then showed some strength breaking away from an arm tackle. 1st and 10
Chaps from the Hayes 44. Here's Wimberly again to pass. In trouble, throws off his back foot and out of bounds, and that gives us an opportunity to head downstairs and check in with Chuck Licata.
Mark, we told you at the beginning of the broadcast it was a driving mist, if you will, but now it's become a steady drizzle. And what I mean by that is it is coming down, and I have a feeling that both the footing and the handling of the ball is going to be affected by the weather right now.
That's a good point. You can usually tell. I usually tell by watching the quarterback when they drop and they set up, they're taking small choppy steps instead of full strides. That usually tells me he's worried about his footing.
2nd and 10, toss left. It's Campbell across the line of scrimmage. 5, close to 10 yards. Knocked off his feet at the 34-yard line. Coming up to make the stop, Adam Cuellar, the 5'8", 159-pound sophomore who is a late addition to the starting lineup, but enough for the first down. And John, you said last week that Tyler Campbell did not get as many reps as you expect him to get. He only carried it a couple of times for 64 yards, and they're trying to get him a little bit more involved in the offense.
Well, he just had 9 carries. He's such a strong runner on the interior between the tackles, and with the rain situation, I thought it would be a good idea.
Westlake on the inside handoff. It's Bailey spinning off of defenders inside the 25, down to around the 22. That's another first down for the Chaps. Back-to-back, a pickup of 11. And so Brian Bailey, a sophomore for the Chaparrals, with just his 18th carry of the season. He came into this one, 17 carries, 146 yards, and 2 receptions for 28 yards, and the Chaps are moving the chains. Remember, they got a big break on a penalty back on the other side of the 50-yard line that Hayes committed, and that kept the drive alive. The wide side of the field is the right side, 1st and 10. Tossed left, Campbell again makes the first man miss, cuts back right inside the 15, down to around the 14-yard line. This time he gets 9. We were talking about the Hayes defense, and John, they allow 174 rushing yards per game, but right now they're having trouble stopping the Chaps on 1st and 2nd down.
Well, the Chap offensive line is getting a great push. At that time, Preston Jordan did a nice job of eluding the blockers and sliding over from his weak side spot to make that tackle. But for the most part, Westlake is getting 4 and 5 yards of penetration each time out.
Offset eye, handoff to Campbell at right guard, uses his hand to propel himself forward. He's inside the 5, down to the 4-yard line. And 4 Hayes players make the tackle on Campbell. So Hayes, we forgot to mention, wearing all white with blue helmets and blue numerals, and the Chaps again in those red jerseys and silver pants. A gain of 9, and it's now 1st and goal for the Chaparrals. Wimberly under center, sends Gullah in motion to the right. On 1st and goal, turns, hands the ball off to Campbell, hurdles a man, and he's into the end zone, touchdown. Tyler Campbell on the run from 5 yards out, and that is his 9th touchdown of the season.
Once again, just lining up and blowing Hayes off the ball. What a tremendous push and a great lead block, too, that time. Tyler Campbell, there are very few men who can get a burst of speed with just 1 foot on the ground. As soon as Campbell's right foot hit the ground, it gave him a surge, and he sprinted the last 3 yards effortlessly.
Here's Richard Gray for the extra point. Mark Flood will hold, and the kick is up, and the kick is good. Nearly midway through the opening quarter, Hayes has yet to touch the ball. It's Westlake 7, Hayes nothing. You're listening to Westlake football on AM 1300 The Zone.
Across the line, Straight, Osborne, Coleman, Clark, Maroney, Dillard, Yokovitis, McGinnity, Hinckley, Shear, Army, and teaming it up, Richard Gray. The Indy proceeding for the Hayes Rebels, Tristan Mayberry, number 28.
6:20 to play in the first quarter. The Westlake Chaparral striking first. 14 plays, 80 yards, 5.5 minutes. Tyler Campbell, a touchdown run of 5 yards. The entire drive on the ground for the Chaps.
Mayberry and Calvin back deep, and it is Mayberry who fields, starts up the middle, angles right across the 20 to the 24-yard line. That's where Michael McGinnity knocks him off his feet. 6:11 left to play in the opening quarter. Westlake on top of Hayes, 7-0, and the Rebels get it for the first time tonight. Their offensive line from left to right, Schwarzkopf, Robert Schwarzkopf, 5'9", 209. The left guard is Marshall Fitton. Matt Posse is the center. The right guard is Randy Schmeltikoff, and the right tackle Josh Kabia. The quarterback Kyle Kimbrough, and he turns, hands the ball off, and what a hit up the middle as Ty Calvin was introduced to the Westlake defense. And it's going to bring up second down and about 8 yards to go. The rest of that Hayes Rebels offense. Ty Calvin in the backfield and Chris Beasley, the fullback. We will see Travis Reynolds, Tristan Mayberry, Dylan Jones, and Jesse McCraw throughout the night. Second down and 8 as the Hayes Rebels move from our left to our right. Westlake, 3 down linemen, a pair of stand-up ends on second down. Quick pass deflected up into the air and nearly intercepted by Donnie Dillard. Gives us time to set the Westlake defense. And John
absolutely. Across the front, the down linemen Mark Maroney, Josh Root, and Bob Kaspar. Stand-up ends Michael McGinnity and Ty Linder. Linebackers Donnie Dillard and Yogi Yokobitis, who had that interception if he could have just turned and found the ball. Corners are Landry Clark and Koyani. And the safeties, Jordan Street and Hunter Coleman, who made that tremendous stick on first down.
Third down, 8 yards to go. The wide side of the field is the left side from the Hayes 22. It's Kyle Kimbrough. Will keep on the option. Big room across the 35, the 40, and busting loose across midfield is the quarterback Kyle Kimbrough as Ty Linder had to chase him down from behind. A gain of 25 for the Hayes Rebels.
Well, that's just
there's the option there, John.
Well, it is. That's again running the football. Now that's just excellent blocking that time by that offensive front. But Ty Calvin, who was the fake man, he was the pitch man. He got out in front and was escorting Kimbrough down the field. At some point, it would have been a good idea maybe to turn around and pick up a block, because running 5 yards ahead of the quarterback, he can't pitch it forward to you.
Dylan Jones split out to the left, and Kimbrough with split backs behind him. And he hands the ball off up the middle on a little dive and a gain of a yard as Wilson Thanish actually make that no gain on the play. It looked like his forward progress may have netted him some positive yards, but in fact the officials will say that maybe he lost half a yard. Wilson Thanish, good to see him out there playing defense. His 5th tackle of the season. And this is a guy that was an offensive lineman coming into camp this year before the injury, John.
Interesting that Hayes really trying to spread the field now with their formation.
4 wide receivers and a man in motion from left to right. Handoff up the gut, short pickup, maybe 4 to the 46-yard line. Ty Linder on the stop, and that was Chris Beasley with his first carry tonight. 5'8", 191-pound junior. 4:19 left to play in the first. Westlake leading Hayes 7-0. The Chap scored on a 14-play, 80-yard drive capped off by a Tyler Campbell 5-yard touchdown run.
We talked about Westlake establishing the run as one of their keys, Mark. I don't think you can illustrate that any greater than to say all 80 yards on that drive around the ground.
3rd and 6, line of scrimmage is the 46 of Westlake. Kimbrough passes left, and behind everybody, Hunter Coleman was there on the coverage, but that pass was badly behind the wide receiver, Stephen Daggs.
I think that had to be a mistake. It had to be a mix-up of sorts, because I think Daggs didn't even look like he thought the ball was coming his way, and I don't know if there was an audible at the line that he just didn't hear or what, but that didn't look in sync.
Well, now, John, what do they do? It's 4th down, 6 yards to go from the Westlake 46, and you would assume they would punt the ball here.
Well, but you also have to assume that this is a very proud football coach with a lot of tradition who feels that his team isn't going to the playoffs. So you have an opportunity here to make a little noise and perhaps try to hand Westlake their first ever district loss in the stadium. There may be a little riverboat gambler in Bob Shelton that says, no, I think we might go for it.
Well, it's a timeout called by the Hayes Rebels. That gives us a chance to go downstairs and check in with Chuck McCotta. Chuck.
Mark, they looked confused, like they weren't sure which play they were going to call. They had a couple players coming on really late. Quentin Smith was running on the field, and they saw the play clock down, so they called timeout. I don't think the coaches and the offense on the field were in sync as to what they wanted to do, and that cost Hayes an early timeout here, 3:52 in the first quarter.
All right, Chuck, thank you very much. So a little confusion.
Well,
there are some sideline reporters who have been chastised for saying they were confused, but that's the kind of reporting that we expect here.
But why would there be any confusion?
Well, maybe they didn't know whether they should punt or if they were going to go.
But what does that tell you? That says that they come into this game knowing that they want to go for broke at certain times and there's no gimmies. Where else? 4th and 6 is punt. Well, pretty much anywhere else you play football.
Well, that's true. High snap, and the punt is away, and a pretty good one, angling inside the 15-yard line, and they're going to knock it out of bounds about the 8. So a gorgeous punt of 38 yards, angled to the left, and no return, and Westlake will be pinned back inside their own 10-yard line, and really a nice punt by Travis Reynolds, the junior. So here come the Chaps. What about your impressions of them on their opening drive?
Well, I think they did exactly what they wanted to do. They wanted to establish Tyler Campbell. They wanted to establish the run. They did both those things. I also thought it could be a big night for Joey Thomas. They had him on a deep seam route that just happened to drop the ball. They can come out and do the same thing they did on the last drive.
Update.
So the Chaps with twins to the left, make that 3 wide receivers to the left as Campbell goes in motion, and handoff up the middle. Tough running by Jim Slutz to the 14-yard line at about half of what he needed for the first down. Back to the studio. Let's check in with Aaron Hogan. Thank you very much, Aaron. On 2nd and 4, it's Jim Slutz. Off tackle left, has enough for the first down, needed 4, picks up 5, and he was brought down by a member of the Hayes secondary. If I'm not mistaken, John, that was Tristan Mayberry, the strong safety, who's going both ways tonight.
They've got a few guys that are going to play both ways, and you always wonder about that at this time of year. But again, remember the philosophy. Now, Coach Shelton, feeling that his team won't be in the postseason, they have 3 football games left. They can be tired during the offseason.
Well, on first down, it's a handoff, and not much of anything around the left side.
Handoff went to Brian Bailey, number 45.
It was Brian Bailey getting the call, and Luke McQuaig on the stop. McQuaig, the biggest of the bunch, or I should say he's tied with Jeff Diaz for the biggest of the bunch, as McQuaid is 6'2", 234, but Diaz is 5'10", 235. So different builds, but they're both pretty stout up the middle. So 2nd down, 9 yards to go. Play action, Wimberly hit as he throws off his back foot for Garza, and the ball is nearly intercepted. Great coverage on the play, and right there defending the play on Garza was Craig Taylor. And one thing about this Hayes Rebels defense is they substitute a lot of guys out there, John. They got a lot of fresh guys. They don't stay with their 11 out there the whole time.
Yeah, they do. And I thought Craig Taylor, by the way, did an excellent job. And Aaron Garza did a nice job of turning into the defender and preventing what looked like it could have been an interception. That ball really thrown up for grabs.
3rd down, 9 yards to go. 2:13 remaining in the first. 7-0 Westlake. Wimberly from the gun gets the snap. Great protection. Pump fake. Now he's flushed out of the pocket. Gets a block in the grasp and sacked back inside the 15-yard line. Ronald Green, the right end, got his arms around Wimberly and threw him to the turf for a loss of 7, and Westlake will be forced to punt deep inside their own territory. That means Hayes should get pretty good field position, and Ty Calvin back deep to receive.
Well, and that's why you play a field position game like this, and that's why I thought it was a good idea that they punt on 4th and 6. There's no reason to put yourself in a hole so early in the game.
Ty Calvin waits for it on the Hayes side of the 50, and Gray gets off a very good punt. Very high. Calvin fields it on the run down the right sideline, bumped out of bounds by Street at the 42. So Hayes got it close to their own 20 the first time, and now they get it at the Westlake. Where do they spot it? The 40-yard line, 41-yard line. So pretty good field position. And so Hayes, and the big play the last time they got it was that quarterback keeper on the option ground.
It was a good play. I'd be very interested to find out when we come to the end of the first quarter what Chuck Licata thinks about whether there's an advantage if the miss is falling directionally at all.
Kimbrough sends a man in motion and hands the ball off. This is Calvin hurtling across the 40-yard line for a gain of 2. Take your pick on the stop. Dillard was there, so was Michael McGinnity and Yogi Yokovitis.
See, I think that was a setup play. I think that they were going to get what they could with that belly dive. I think they were waiting to see if Westlake adjusted that option. I'll tell you, if the quarterback keeps that ball, if Kimbrough goes ahead and carries out his fake and keeps that ball, he runs for a while. So I wouldn't be surprised to see that play again, maybe on 3rd down.
Tight end on the left, toss left. It's Calvin, needs a block, gets one, turns the corner, 40, 35 at the 30, and knocked out of bounds inside the 30. Check that just outside the 30 at the 31-yard line on the far side of the field. Let's go downstairs and check in with Chuck Licata. Chuck.
Well, Mark, I would say that you're definitely looking at a steady rain right now. It has definitely picked up since the beginning of the game, and as John was talking about, is it affecting Westlake? Right now, the rain is falling left to right, and it's coming inside the helmets of the Westlake players.
Gotcha. So it's
Chuck, thanks.
Hayes has the advantage right now.
Kimbrough from the shotgun and hands the ball off on the draw, and no gain at all. Loss of 3 on the play. Tristan Mayberry, and if you're a Texas Longhorns fan, that play looks very familiar because that's what Oklahoma ran about 12 times in that opening quarter. The shotgun draw to the running back, Ty Linder, makes the sack, or the stop behind the line of scrimmage, I should say. And for the 8th time this season, he tackles an opposing player behind the line of scrimmage. Now 2nd and 12. 22 seconds left to play in the quarter. Westlake on top 7-0, but Hayes is driving. Kimbrough sends Mayberry in motion to the left, and a botched exchange there. Unclear whether Kimbrough was trying to hand the ball off to Calvin or not, but they bumped into each other, and Kimbrough gets back to the line of scrimmage and nothing more before Josh Root tackles him, and no gain on the play.
You know, that happened, so I think Calvin may have thought that the play was going to be called to go to the right. Quarterback took a step and went left, and ended up running into each other.
End of one quarter of play here at Chaparral Stadium. Westlake 7, Hayes nothing. Westlake football continues in a moment on 1300 The Zone.
Number 39, Spike Game. And number 69, Philip Beaker. They're both turning 18 today. The Westlake Youth Basketball Association wants to remind you that the deadline for registration is October 31st. So be sure to mail in your registration forms. If you need a form, they can be picked up Westlake Youth Basketball Association.
Start of the second quarter from Chaparral Stadium. Westlake on top 7-0. 3rd and 12 for the Hayes Rebels. Kimbrough back to pass. Pump fake, in trouble. Hit as he throws. It is nearly intercepted, in and out of the hands of Jordan Street, but in his defense, that thing was a rocket across the middle.
You know, this is the problem sometimes with the kind of a timing offense that you run. Kimbrough dropped back. He couldn't quite set his feet. Every route that was run was a comebacker. And like all the receivers ran a hook route. Well, now if it's not open and you don't release, now what? It's improvisation from here on, and he didn't have that. He took a shot and fired it and really should have had the ball picked off.
Well, now it's 4th down, 12 yards to go, and it looks like Hayes will try to pin him back once again. Travis Reynolds did a gorgeous job the last time, a 38-yard punt angling out of bounds, and this time it looks like it is sailing toward the end zone, and in fact it does go into the end zone for a touchback, so the Chaps will get it at their own 20-yard line. The Chaps have had it 2 times. Once they score on the first possession, they get a 5-yard touchdown by Tyler Campbell. Keep in mind that the drive was kept alive by a Hayes penalty, and on the second possession they were forced to punt. So now they take over in the second quarter with 11:47 remaining in the first half, and the Chaps on top 7-0. Still Turner Wimberly in at quarterback. We saw rotating quarterbacks last week with Walker. Toss right, it's Campbell. Has 5 yards and more. Knocked off his feet at the 32. Adam Cuellar came up to make the stop, but a first down for the Westlake Chaparral. Stats in the first half, Westlake with 91 yards, all on the ground, and Hayes 38 yards, all on the ground. Gain of 12 for Tyler Campbell, and the line of scrimmage is now the 32. Wide side of the field is the left side. Campbell, very involved here in the opening half, and we did not see that a week ago.
No.
And he's in the backfield this time, fumbles it momentarily, picks it up, and still able to get back to the line of scrimmage and gain a couple as he was coming to the near side, knocked out of bounds by Preston Jordan, who's the leading tackler on this Rebel defense, coming into the game with 75 tackles in 7 games, averaging more than 7 tackles a game, John. So he's all over the place.
Very impressive. You can see Derek Long now huddled with his defense on the sidelines talking about something. He's very animated, too. You take a look at the fumble from Tyler Campbell. Looked like he might have just taken his eye off the ball, allowed the ball to hit him in the chest pads, and that's why he got the bounce. I don't think that was the case for rep football at all. That's what I was curious to see right there.
Shotgun Wimberly. 4 wide receivers, 3 to the left. The sophomore quarterback plants. He's in trouble, pressure coming, loses his footing, and this will be called a sack, but he really fell down on his own accord back at the 25-yard line. There was pressure there, but that's going to go back as a loss of almost 10 yards, John, and that's going to put them in a tough position here, 3rd and a mile.
Tough to convert that. Ronald Green got good penetration from his defensive end spot. Ironically, he slipped and couldn't make the tackle. Wimberly slipped, making a great move to get away from the pressure, and he went down too. So I don't think this is going to get any better if the weather stays like it is as the game wears on.
3rd down, 18 yards to go. The Westlake Chaparrals need their own 42 to pick up a first down. Westlake has yet to gain any yardage through the air. Blitz coming. And Wimberly scrambles. He's in trouble, needs a block, gets one. He's across the 35 and picks up, about 12 yards. Dropped by Jeff Diaz, but Westlake will be stopped inside their own end of the field. They will be forced to punt once again. 9:41 left to play in the half, and the Chaps on top, 7-zip. John, you get the sense that this is one of those games that could be very low scoring because of the weather, and neither team able to move the ball very effectively.
Well, not necessarily, because here's what I'm seeing. When Westlake elects to run the football and give it to Tyler Campbell, they're doing very well. It's when Wimberly drops back to pass that they seem to be having trouble.
Gray, the barefooted kicker, gets off a very high punt. Beautiful. Bounces at the 10, goes into the end zone. That's going to go as a touchback, and he got robbed. It was a 63-yard punt, net of 43, which is still impressive, but that's perhaps the best kick of his life.
I don't know how he got that much foot into it with such a heavy atmosphere. It's like 120% humidity out there, and that ball just cut right through it.
So here come the Hayes Rebels. 9:11 to play in the opening half. Westlake on top, 7-zip. And the line of scrimmage is the Hayes 20-yard line.
ID.
They got it at the Westlake 41 and had to punt last time. And Kimbrough breaks the huddle, comes to the line. A wide receiver either direction, and the wishbone behind him. 3 running backs. Westlake showing blitz. Toss out to the left, to the second back, and what a stick! As Landry Clark came up and knocked Tristan Mayberry for a 2-yard loss. It cost 10 seconds for station identification.
Landry Clark makes the stop in the backfield.
This is Mac Brown. The kickoff.
Loss of a couple of yards on the play brings up a 2nd down and 12.
8:46 left to play. First half, clock on the move. 7-0 Westlake. What a hit by Landry Clark on that last play, John. Just up from his cornerback position to make the stick.
Yeah, it's just great preparation and good form. He broke down, waited for the man to approach him, and just took him down.
3 wide receivers to the right. Kimbrough, short drop, pass is tipped and incomplete. And Yogi Yokubaitis came up to knock it down. Well, one man who is down there in this driving rain is our own Chuck Licata. Chuck.
Mark, and it is a driving rain, and as you guys can see, it's affecting footing, it's affecting the handling of the ball, and amazing Richard Gray's punt got that far, but he told me before the game, he said the footing was fine for him. He said he had no problem, so hopefully it'll stay that way if you're a Westlake fan.
Well, he's got a bare foot. Maybe all the guys should take their shoes off.
Or maybe it should rain all the time for him. That was an unbelievable punt. And now 3rd, call it 13 yards to go. Draw play, nothing at all. Back to the original line of scrimmage and a gain of 3. So it's going to be 4th and 10 for the Hayes Rebels, and they will be forced to punt. And now Westlake, this is one of those games, John, where field position is just going to be so important. And Hunter Coleman and Jordan Street go back around midfield, and they're going to get unbelievable field position and a chance to break something.
Well, if you can pull it off, if you can somehow get a misdirection, and that means on returns too, if you can somehow pull off a reverse, 11 guys trying to stop and change their sense of direction is going to be very difficult.
Here's Travis Reynolds with the punt, end over end, very low, taken by Street at midfield. Angles right and spun down to the ground at the 46-yard line. The punt was 29 yards. The return was 5. And now Westlake gets it inside Hayes territory for the first time tonight. They started their own 20, their own 8, and their own 20. And now for the 4th possession of the night for Westlake, With 7:39 left to play in the second quarter, they get it inside Hayes territory at the Hayes 45.
Turner Wimberly has done an excellent job so far improvisationally, getting away from the pressure, trying to make something out of nothing. But I still maintain that, that something is off in the pass game, whether it's receiver slipping down or his timing is off or pressure from Hayes. It's just not clicking. What has been clicking so far is Tyler Campbell, who thus far in the game has 8 carries for 58 yards. That's, by my math, that's a little better than 7 yards a pop, and that's about what he came in averaging.
Thomas tight left, Gullah wide left. Short drop, pump fake. Here's Wimberly going to the air, looking for Garza, and just overshoots him. Garza with a little stutter step at the 25. Had he run the fly and not done that stutter step, he might have had a touchdown. Ball was just out of his reach.
I'm just shocked when he doesn't catch him anymore. The show he put on here a couple of weeks ago was ridiculous. The 3 acrobatic catches. I never think that anything's out of reach for him.
Craig Taylor there on the coverage, step for step with Garza. And Wimberly has attempted 6 passes without a completion. It's Garza, slot left, and Bill Walker wide left. Campbell in motion out of the backfield. Wimberly under center. Turns and fakes the handoff to Slutz. And on the misdirection, it is a handoff to Garza, which goes for 4. And then he's brought down. It's going to be 3rd and long. Making the stop was Darius Glasper. Glasper, the 178-pound junior. So now 3rd and 6, John. What's the call?
The deceptives, I like a draw play in this instance. You've thrown the ball on first down. You've been throwing it, whether it's been effective or not, you've still been doing it. I think a draw play can be effective.
Well, they're 1 of 4 on 3rd down conversions. Bailey in motion to the left. Wimberly rolls left, in trouble, and down he goes. Another loss. Back at the 48-yard line. It seems like the penetration was there, and they just exploded the pocket, and Travis Reynolds was the first man there. Well, a loss of 7.
He crumbled that pocket. He just kept driving. You do those bear crawls through all 2-a-days, and you hate it, and you don't understand why you have to do it, and he just illustrated why you do that. He went to the ground and just kept driving, and eventually there was no more room for Turner Wimberly to roll out to his left.
4th and 12. So Westlake will punt. It's Gray, fields the snap, and this time his punt is very high and coming down out of bounds somewhere between the 10 and 15-yard line. The official will spot it at the 13. Let's go back to the studio. Another scoreboard update. Here's Aaron Hogan. Aaron Hogan pass. 7-0 Westlake here. 6:13 to play in the half. And Hayes has it, moving from our right to our left. In this driving lane, Kimbrough on the down-the-line option will keep, and he takes a shot. Donnie Dillard on assignment football just went down the line with him and nailed him at the line of scrimmage for no gain on the play. Donnie Dillard is a kid, John, who's had to make an appearance in the starting lineup after the injury to Matt Balthasar with the concussions.
And he stepped up, and you called it. He's done a very nice job. I find it's a curious call to run that option to the short side of the field. They're lined up on the right hash. Not much room to operate. I do understand why they're running the play. Everything at the line of scrimmage is a cut block. You're not asking your linemen to establish and maintain their blocks. Nobody can keep their footing anyway.
Well, they'll keep it on the ground once again. And jumping over a pile is Ty Calvin, the 5'8" senior, and Jordan Street makes the stop, a gain of 5, and the pile just collapsed at the line of scrimmage, and Calvin hurdled everyone. Calvin averaging 6.7 yards per carry this season, 93 carries, 621 yards entering the contest. We're approaching the 5-minute mark here in the second quarter, and Westlake still maintains this 7-0 lead. It's now 3rd and 5 for the Hayes Rebels. They need about the 24 to pick up the first down, their own 24. 4 wide receiver package, 2 each direction. Short drop, throwing right, great catch, but I believe short of the first down, and it'll come down to the spot. Stephen Daggs, a gain of 5, and they put it down right near the sticks, and someone who had a much better look, if he could see, of course, in this rain, is our own Chuck Licata. Let's go downstairs to him.
Well, Mark, he definitely... This is definitely affecting Hayes. As we said, the rain is blowing left to right, And so that means that the rain is going into the helmets of the Hayes players. And I just talked to Aaron Garza as he came off. I said, how's the footing? He said, it's horrible.
Well, that sums it up, I guess.
Well, they stretch out the chains, and still no indication. Did they get the first down? Yes, they did.
Yep.
So apparently everyone saw the indication except for me.
There was no indication. I was watching them stretch out the chain.
There's a lot of rain right in front of me.
Exactly. I do think, very interesting. We make Hayes sound like, split sisters of the poor because they're not going to the playoffs. This is a team that averages almost 400 yards of offense per game.
Wide side of the field is the left side on 1st and 10. It's Calvin able to elude one and maybe two and backpedals to the 30-yard line, and that is a gain of about 6. Jordan Street came up to make the stop, but he made a man miss at the line of scrimmage and demonstrating his intimidating running.
I think it's important to point that out, that just because they may not go to the playoffs doesn't mean they're a bad football team. It just means that injuries, turnovers, and a very good district race has finally caught up with Bob Shelton's program. Like we said, Calvin and Mayberry together are averaging 7.5 yards a carry. This is a good football team that's just had some tough luck.
It was Landry Clark who missed him at the line of scrimmage. And now on the option, late toss to Calvin. Calvin trying to get the first down, and Clark redeems himself this time by holding his ground. Good discipline by the cornerback on the far side of the field. A gain of 3, and right near that first down marker, John. 3:45 left to play in the second quarter, and a low-scoring affair here at Chaparral Stadium, 7-zip.
You know what's interesting? That play could have gone for a lot more. Aaron Garza's comments about the footing, I think Ty Calvin stepped out of bounds when he probably should have planted his right foot and turned up inside that block. He had some room to run, but I think he also is concerned about the footing. That's going to affect some of the decision-making the rest of the way.
Kimbrough and his offense, 2 of 5 on third down conversions. Wide side of the field is the left side. QB keeper lunging forward. It appears from here that he has enough for the first down, but the officials will stop the clock to take a closer look. He should have the first down here, and they're going to move the stick. So, well, a couple of moments ago, John, I said that the offenses were having trouble moving the ball. They're able to move it in 10-yard chunks, but the biggest play that we've seen is a 25-yard cannon.
Yeah, the big plays aren't coming. Well, there's certainly no breakaway runs. The passing has been the tough spot for both sides. Neither team has really had a lot of success through the air. We've had one completion for 5 yards on the night. That's the two teams combined, so nobody's really getting it going. That's out of 10 attempts. 1 of 10 for 5 yards is not a thrilling night through the air.
1st and 10, Kimbrough from his own 34, back pedals, will throw into traffic, and it is incomplete. Great coverage on the play. Jordan Street was matched up with Tristan Mayberry, the 5'9", 170-pound junior, and the two were jostling for position, and the ball was thrown up for grabs, but Street held his ground, and Street leads this team with 4 interceptions, so that's a guy you don't necessarily want to throw at.
Kimbrough's got an arm. He was planted, didn't have a chance to step into that, threw it from his off foot, and threw that ball about 50 yards in the air. And it looked like Mayberry just kind of quit the route.
The Chaps will rush 3, and now Kimbrough throwing down the right side, has his man at the 45, and running loose down the field. This will go for a huge 66-yard touchdown. Adam McKeever. McKeever beat his man down the far sideline, and it was smooth sailing to the end zone. 66 yards. We are an extra point away from having a tie game.
Well, Mark, you talk about McKeever's a guy, he only has 8 catches coming in, but he averaged 20 yards per completion. So you know he's a big play threat for them. Just a tough angle that time from Jordan Street, who came over to make the hit.
Here's the extra point. It is up, and it is good. We're all tied up. Let's go downstairs and check in with Chuck Licata.
Hey, Mark, you and John both mentioned that Hayes is 3-4 and kind of struggling this season. Well, you know what? Hayes is 3-0 on the road. They're actually 0-4 at Bob Shelton Stadium. So if there's any kind of team that's a definition of road warriors, it's probably the Hayes Rebels.
That's an excellent point. 3:05 to play in the first half. We are 7-7, and I think it's important to point out that as the night goes on and the weather conditions and the turf deteriorate further, points could come at a premium. So whatever points are had should be had as early as possible and as quickly as possible. I'm sure Westlake would like to try to get something on the board going into the clubhouse at the break.
Well, and that drive started at their own 13-yard line, so neither team has been blessed with good field position. The 2 times that each team has gotten it in their opponent's end of the field. They've had to punt. Hayes got it at the Westlake 41 and had to punt. And Westlake got it at the Hayes 45 and had to punt. So this time Hayes starts at their own 13-yard line, and they go 87 yards in 7 plays. And McKeever with a 66-yard touchdown reception. And now Reynolds will kick off from our right to our left. 3:08 on the clock that last time, or that drive took up 3 minutes and 8 seconds, I should say. 3:03 left to play in the half, and off a bounce, Coleman fields at his own 8, up to the 20 quickly in a hurry, and out across the 25 to the 28-yard line. And that's where the Westlake Chaparrals will get it. Ryan Greason on the stop. 2:55 left to play in the half, and the game tied at 7, John.
I really think that Westlake, if they can't make something happen here, they might regret the fact that they got the ball in Hayes territory at the 45-yard line the last time out, and they had to go 3 plays and out. That was really a golden opportunity that they may look back on.
Turner Wimberly has yet to complete a pass, and we're almost at the midway point of this football game, and he hands off to Campbell, who stumbled momentarily. He was very cautious about fielding that ball. He wanted to make sure that he had both hands around it if he was going to run with it from the backfield. And they wanted to make sure that they didn't get that exchange screwed up there, John, especially with that wet football. Picks up 2.
Well, you definitely have to be careful. There's a lot of time on the clock here. I mean, that is plenty of time the way Westlake, the way they can be explosive, and certainly Tyler Campbell can take it the distance in about 8 seconds.
Game tied at 7. On 2nd and 8, Wimberly, pump fake. Steps up in the pocket, and he's dropped for a 2-yard loss. Zach Miller came up from his linebacking position to take down the quarterback, Wimberly. And, John, one thing that you and I have both noticed about Turner Wimberly, when he tries the pump fake, his hands obviously are not big enough where he can palm the football on the pump fake, because he always does it with 2 hands.
Well, that might hurt him a little bit in trying to sell that pump action, but for the most part, he has done a good job of avoiding the rush tonight. That's just one of the times he happened to get caught.
3rd down, a little bit more than 10. Bailey in motion to the left. Wimberly drops back, hands the ball off to Campbell at left guard, has 2, 4, maybe 5 yards to the 32 or 3-yard line. Zach Miller, another stop, and Westlake forced to punt with 93 seconds remaining in the half. Actually, 92 seconds and a timeout on the field. We will take it with them. Minute 32 remaining in the second quarter. It's Westlake 7, Hayes 7, and Westlake football continues after this on 1300 The Zone.
Congratulations to Bill Herman. He's got the gift to get to the Mary Maids at Westlake. Please direct your attention to the track on the home side about midfield. The grandparents are bringing the jet ski or personal watercraft onto the track. They're selling tickets at halftime in the stands, and this will be the last night that they'll be selling raffle tickets. So please support the grandparents and try to win yourself that personal watercraft.
Go, Chap! Go, go, go! Come on, Chap! Go, Westlake! Go, Chap! Go! 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 Go, Chap! Go!
And play resumes its first down.
On 4th down, about 7 yards to go, Westlake will punt from its own 31-yard line. Gray backpedals, gets the punt away, and Calvin waiting patiently for it. Fields at the 31, starts out right, runs over a man, and out of bounds at the 40-yard line. The punt was 38 yards. The return was 9 by Ty Calvin. And here come the Hayes Rebels with a minute 21 remaining in the half and an opportunity to take the lead going into the break.
Well, and you know, whatever they can get at this time, and again, there's still time to run your offense, especially the kind of offense that they run. There's no need to just simply drop back in formation and fire 3 deep passes. They've got a time they can run some option football. They can certainly try to utilize the tight end some.
Oh, and pretty good field position, though, John.
They do have good field
41,
position.
but obviously kicking in this weather would be a risky proposition.
Yeah.
3 wide receivers to the left of Kimbrough. 3-step drop, guns the slant, and it's tipped and incomplete. Great coverage by Hunter Coleman, who is matched up with Dylan Jones. He threw the slant as Jones was slanting from left to right, and the pass was thrown right at that midfield W. The W with the chaparral head on it. I guess, would you call that the crest, John? What would you call that thing? The midfield?
I would call that expensive.
Yeah. I mean, it's a brand new stadium. It's a crest.
I think it's a crest. Insignia?
Insignia. I don't know what you call it. Either way, it fell incomplete. Now 2nd and 10 yards to go. Shotgun Kimbrough. Takes the snap. Great protection. Looks left. Now throws it back right. Screen to 40-yard line. 45. Midfield. Huge room to the 40 and the 35-yard line. Tristan Mayberry goes for 25 yards.
That's a great call. That's a great call. We got the flow going one way. It was a throwback screen, actually. They had 3 guys set up to this side, all going out in the pattern. The quarterback really sold it.
Again from the shotgun. 66 seconds left in the half. And Kimbrough quickly to the line of scrimmage, calling out the play. Clock now inside a minute. Kimbrough, shotgun, drops back to pass. Pressure coming, same play. Screen to Mayberry. This time he is hammered by Yogi Yokubaitis after a gain of 1. Second time in a row, John, they've let the defensive lineman converge into the backfield and then throw it over the top to Tristan Mayberry.
Well,
another timeout.
It was well set up, but Yogi blew up the plan that time, and he got through 3 blockers in that area, snuck through and just blew that play up before it could get going. That was a terrific defensive play. That's the 3rd good defensive play in this half because he's also deflected 2 passes from his linebacker spot that was designed to be quick seam routes, and he just got his hands up and deflected the passes.
Well, that was the final timeout of the half for the Hayes Rebels. Westlake has 3 timeouts remaining. Let's go downstairs and check in with Chuck Licata.
And Mark, going to be interesting to see. Now, the players are allowed to change shoes and wear a shoe with a bigger cleat. I talked to Coach Schrader before the game. He said he doesn't like to have his kids wear that, even though it gives better traction. He said you're prone to a knee injury more so if you're wearing that kind of shoe. And again, as you guys have been calling pretty much here since the middle of the first quarter, footing is really bad. So we'll keep an eye when they come out in the second half. We'll keep an eye and see if any of these guys change to that shoe with the bigger cleat.
All right. Well, Chuck will have a much better look at that. And now it is 2nd and 10. The clock shows 47 seconds left to play in the second quarter. Line of scrimmage is the 33 of Westlake. Kimbrough rolling right, throwing over everyone and out of bounds. Adam McKeever, the intended target. McKeever, who caught that 66-yard touchdown pass. So it's 3rd down.
And again, working to the short side of the field, working from the right hash and moving, rolling out towards the sideline. You have to figure that's an attempt to give the intended receiver or whoever has possession of the football the opportunity to get out of bounds and stop the clock. As you mentioned, Mark, they have no more timeouts. They have to be very careful about how they operate the rest of the way.
Football on the right hash. So the wide side is the left side. Split backs, fake the handoff. Kimbrough with time to throw. Throws the slant. It's complete, but short of a first down as Donnie Dillard makes the tackle.
And now they have to hurry because the clock is going to tick. As you mentioned, not enough for a first down. Everybody trying to set up.
They're about 3 yards short as Gabe Gonzalez hauled that thing in, his first catch of the night. So now they will attempt a field goal, John. And this is going to be a 43-yarder from the left hash. Snap is down. Here's the kick. It is up. It has the distance, and it is no good. Pushed to the left as Matt Boardman unable to connect from 43 yards away, and the clock shows now 7 seconds remaining in the half. Westlake caught a break there because Hayes wasn't very organized on that field goal attempt.
Well, it was a pretty good idea. I wondered why there were 7, 8 new guys running off the field on the sideline for Hayes. Now, obviously, that was an opportunity to get that done. Now, again, that would have given them a couple of opportunities. They could have actually gotten the snap and just fallen on it and still had a shot at a field goal.
So Wimberly turns, hands the ball off, and hard running up the middle by Slutz at right guard. And that should be the end of the opening half. Really a crazy opening half, John, but I guess what we expected, with this rain and this mist, and it has made it a very low-scoring game. Downstairs, Chuck Licata is with Westlake head coach Ron Schrader.
Okay, thank you, Mark. Coach Schrader, obviously the rain is affecting the team's play. How much is it affecting your game plan, number one, and what will you try to do since it looks like the weather's not going to get any better in the second half?
Well, Chuck, it's hard to handle football. It's really hard to throw it, and The field is slick. You know, it's really hard to get into any, you know, anything going. You know, really. You know, so you know it's gonna. You know, Hayes has some real strong kids inside defensively. It's hard to consistently run the ball on them, but and you know the ball's hard to handle. You know, there's just a steady miss falling. So you know we're gonna have to make some adjustments in the second half.
Is there any chance you go to that other shoe with the bigger cleat?
I don't know. I don't think that shoe is going to help up in the, 6 feet up in the air.
Okay, thanks, Coach. Good luck. Guys?
All right, Chuck, Coach, thanks a lot. We're at the half. It's Westlake 7 and Hayes 7. And we're back to Chaparral Stadium right after this on AM 1300 The Zone.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to tonight's halftime activities. Westlake High School Department of Bands is proud to present the Westlake Chaparral Marching Band. The Chaparral Band has a rich history of excellence. The band has produced 82 Texas All-State musicians, received UIL sweepstakes 31 of the past 32 years, traveled extensively throughout the United States, Canada, Europe, China, and Japan, and they are a 3-time Texas State Honor Band champion. The marching band is placed in the top 5 at Advance of America regional competition for 4 consecutive years. And in December, the Westlake Wind Ensemble will perform at the prestigious Midwest Clinic in Chicago, Illinois. And on New Year's Day, the Chaparral Band will march in the 2003 Tournament of Roses Parade in Pasadena, California. Tomorrow, the Chaparral Band will travel to Houston to compete in the UIL Area Marching Contest. The band performs at 5:15 in Conroe Stadium. Good luck, band. Marchers of the week this week are Dan Stirka and Afshan Rajkatwala. The Chaparral Band is under the field direction of drum majors Mark Goddard, Annie Schofield, and Tiffany Ye. Tonight, the band will present their complete 2002 fall production entitled Of Grace and Strength, based on the music of classical composer Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, arranged by Mark Higginbotham. And now, the Westlake Chaparral Marching Band. And now the Westlake High Line. Under the direction of Barbara Loomis and assisted by Shannon Hardy, the award-winning High Line continues with a rich tradition of excellence. High Line board members are President Grace Lynn, Vice Presidents Christy Lyle and Connolly Williams, Secretary Amanda Lockhart, Treasurer Stephanie Cantu, and Reporter Maggie Cato. Highline officers are Second Lieutenants Katie French, Kristen Gallo, and Haley Buechler, and Lauren Williams. First Lieutenant is Lauren Turnbull, and Captain Jennifer Riazzi. This week's Dancer of the Week is Amanda Gray, and Spirit Girl is Lauren Bialis. Tonight, the Highline and their guests take you back in time with a spirited father-daughter dance to Rockin' Robin. Chaparral Marching Band and Highline. The band is under the direction of Carrie Taylor, Glenn Fugit, Randall Brownlee, Chuck Fisher, and student teacher Anna Rodriguez, with assistance from Kim Stringer, Rick Rodriguez, Garrett Decker, Ryan Lucas, and Sarah Hathaway. Good luck, band, tomorrow at Area D Marching Contest in Houston.
The South goes. From over in the Westlake Gymnasium, the Westlake High School volleyball team that happens to be ranked number 2 in the state of Texas just won the District 25 5A championship tonight by beating Hayes. They moved to 13-0 in the district and 30-4 overall.
Well, the Hayes Rebels did win the toss before the game and deferred, so they get it first here in the second half. Richard Gray will kick off from our left to our right with the mist and the rain behind him, and he uses it to his advantage and kicks it over the head of Ty Calvin. Before we get this second half started, let's go downstairs and check Licata on the weather.
Hey, Mark, I was just going to say the rain has actually let up a little bit. It's more of a drizzle than a steady rain, but the wind has picked up, and it is definitely affecting the kicking game going left to right. And as you said, Richard Gray definitely took advantage of that breeze behind his back.
The Hayes Rebel offense. Offensive line from left to right, Schwarzkopf, Fitton, Posse, Schmeltikoff, and Kabia. The tight end is Travis Reynolds, who also punts. Mayberry has been a big part of this offense. Kimbrough's the quarterback, Calvin and Beasley behind him. And before we even start this second half, I believe there's a substitution penalty.
Yeah, once again, I mean, I'll tell you, these coaches, each of them is going to lose a little hair tonight. That's just driving them crazy. You see Shelton on the far sideline exasperated, asking the line judge, what do I have to do there? I mean, that's only the second penalty of the night. It's both for the same thing, and it's at the beginning of the half in each case.
Our referee, Melvin Lindsay.
Substitution infraction on the offense.
He's not sounding as good as he did in the first half. It's
no.
The weather's getting to him, I think.
Apparently. The umpire is Jeff Tucker, the head linesman, Tim LaFuente. Doesn't that sound like a cigar?
Tim LaFuente? You're going to laugh. I think I went to school with Tim.
Really?
Yeah, I went to school with a Tim LaFuente. I don't know if that's him.
Well, he graduated in 47, so that's about right. 3 wide receivers. Kimbrough fakes the handoff, keeps it himself on the option, picks up maybe a yard. It's going to be second and about 14 yards to go after the penalty on the illegal substitution. The rest of that officials group, Jake Payne, the line judge, the back judge is Mark Thompson. The Westlake Chaparral defense, Maroney, Root, and Casper up front. The outside guys, Linder and McGinnity. The middle linebackers, Dillard and Yokobitis, and the secondary, very strong. Landry Clark, Jordan Street, Hunter Coleman, and Coy Ani. Second down, 14 yards to go. We're just underway in the second half, and the score tied at 7. Man in motion from right to left, passing right and incomplete. Hunter Coleman laid the wood on the intended target, Dylan Jones. Check that, Adam McKeever. And the pass attempt by Kyle Kimbrough, but John, they're throwing the ball 25 yards and only 1 yard forward.
Interesting, the I formation without the benefit of a tight end. Obviously, they were trying to get an isolation over on that side. McKeever, the only man, there wasn't another white shirt within 20 yards of where McKeever was. I'll tell you, Hunter Coleman paid him for that touchdown catch he had in the first half. Ribs were exposed, and Hunter took a good shot.
Shotgun now for Hayes, 3rd and 14. Fake the handoff to the first guy, give it to the second guy on the shotgun draw, and Mayberry has nowhere to run before Big Bob Casper nails him for a loss of 2. 1 minute gone by here in the second half. Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. The Westlake defense does their job, and now Hayes will punt. Travis Reynolds is the punter, and he got off some pretty good ones in the opening half. Coleman and Street back deep to receive at the Hayes 48. No pressure coming at all. Reynolds' punt is pretty good. Street has it at midfield, angles right, nowhere to go, trying to turn the corner, and zigzags his way ahead for about 5 yards before McKeever knocks him out of bounds. The punt was 34 yards, the return 5 yards, and Westlake gets it inside Hayes territory to begin the third quarter, actually for their first possession of the third quarter.
Now, that's quite a big break for the Westlake offense. Again, they did get the ball at the 45 of Hayes in the first half. Ended up being 3 plays and a punt, so they'll really want to capitalize here.
Good field position for Westlake. From the 44, it's a handoff to Campbell. Loses his footing and slips forward for a yard. And it's going to be second and long coming up. Jeff Diaz and Zach Miller combine on the stop. 2 minutes gone by here in the third quarter. Game tied at 7. John, you mentioned it. Each team got it in their opponent's end of the field once in the first half, or started in their opponent's end of the field and had to punt both times.
Tyler Campbell has just come out of the football game, so it'll be interesting to see what they try to go with here.
And Joyce replaces him. He gets the call at left guard, steps over a defender. He's inside the 40, down to the 38-yard line, picking up 5. Ty Calvin on the stop. So Justin Joyce, just a sophomore, with 14 carries entering the game for 92 yards, 2 touchdowns and 1 fumble. Spelling Campbell for 1 play, but Tyler's back in there. Gullah is in there as well.
But, you know, Joyce might be a little more effective than Campbell in many respects. A runner who's going to have a shorter stride, choppier steps, might have better footing.
Wimberly, handoff to Campbell, runs into 2 defenders. Nothing there. Diaz on the stop. And Big Jeff Diaz is clogging up the middle for no gain on the play. 9:05 left to play in the third, and it's now 4th down.
You know what you need on a night like this? You need to find one of your linemen, either team. Find a lineman that goes about 290 and give them the football. See if you can just clear a path and say, well, you know nobody's going to knock him off his feet. Let's just see how many yards he can get.
Well, Hayes is anticipating a fake because Gray goes back to punt. No one back deep to receive. Gray will try to angle this one toward the left pylon. Gets a great lateral bounce at the 8, and it will be killed dead at the 8-yard line. A nice punt by Richard Gray. And goes down as a 23-yard punt. No return, but Hayes will start inside their own 10-yard line.
Well, that's very difficult. Now, the 2 times that Westlake had the ball in Hayes territory, they went 3 plays and a punt each time. That's going to be tough. But, you know, this is the last 3 times that Westlake has had the ball. It's been 3 and out, with the exception of the 1 play that they ran to end the first half.
Well, that last time Hayes had it, they had to punt.
Absolutely.
And Westlake, the defense looked pretty well. Looked like they did some nice adjustments in the locker room. Kimbrough, toss left, has a blocker in front of him, gets a great block, turns the corner at the 10, now the 15, up close to the 18-yard line. Tackled inbounds by Dillard and Street, and a gain of 9, close to a first down for the running back, Ty Calvin. It's going to be second and short coming up, I beg your pardon. 8:14 left to play in the third, tied at 7. And Dillard doing a nice job stringing out these plays, but that's quality yardage on first down right there, John.
It was a nice lead block by Chris Beasley. Coleman did his job, turned the play back inside, but just really good speed by Calvin. And a strong finish to get some positive yardage. Important for Hayes. Westlake had them losing yards the first time they had the ball.
Kimbrough, handoff to Calvin. Calvin hit at the line of scrimmage by Yogi Yokubaitis, and a loss of 1 on the play. So third and short coming up, and that's the kind of stop you need if you're the Westlake defensive unit, not allowing them to get that first down and trying to keep them still in the hole inside their own 20-yard line.
Looked like both defenses talked at halftime about not giving up anything up the middle. So if either offense is going to get any appreciable yards, you're going to have to make them go with a little more risky play.
Call it third down, about a foot to go. Play clock winding down, now at 8 seconds. Kimbrough, wishbone behind him. Wing left, handoff to the first man through, and I believe he's got the first down. It was Chris Beasley, the 5'8", 191-pound junior who pinballed off a couple of defenders and picks up the necessary yardage plus 2 more to move the sticks and pick up the first down. The football will now go across the 20-yard line. So Hayes would like to keep this thing a low-scoring game. They'd like to control the ball and the clock. They did so very effectively in the first half, and so far here in the third quarter, trying to do that same thing.
That's a good quick reaction by Jordan Street making the tackle, but there's no way that Beasley looks like he weighs only 15 pounds more than Jordan Street. Beasley's got to be more than 190.
Tight right, toss right. It's Calvin. Needs a block, taking on McGinnity and picking up a couple of yards as Koyani came up from his cornerback position. And a gain of maybe 1 or 2 as they were trying to go toward the far side of the field. And 2nd and 9 coming up. Good job by McGinnity and Awney to string them out.
Well, and there's,
go ahead.
I'm sorry. And you see what Hayes is trying to do now with the 3 consecutive play calls. You've got a pitch left, run up the middle, and a pitch right. They're trying to get rid of any keys that Westlake may have picked up in the first half, spreading the field. Now look at in this formation, they're going sideline to sideline.
Calvin slot left and Dylan Jones wide left on 2nd and 9. And on the option, late toss to Calvin. He's in trouble, and he's dropped for a loss. Michael McGinnity playing great assignment football, and they will lose 5 on the play. For the 4th time this season, Michael McGinnity has an opposing running back behind the line of scrimmage. John, we've reached the midway point of this 3rd quarter, and we're exactly where we were at the half, 7 apiece.
Well, now that's a good sign if you're a visiting team coming in here, because Westlake is so dangerous the first 5 minutes of each half. But also for Westlake, the defense has been keeping them in this ballgame so far. The offense really struggling. Defense has given up just that one play. You know, otherwise they've really done a pretty good job holding a high-powered offense in check.
Well, and you're referring to that 66-yard touchdown strike.
Correct.
Trips left. Kimbrough fakes the handoff. Now he's looking to pass. He's in the grasp by Casper, and Casper throws him down for a big sack inside the 5. A loss on the play of 13 yards. And it's punting time for the Hayes Rebels.
He must have fought through 3 white jerseys to get his prey. And when he got a hold of the quarterback, Kimbrough couldn't have enough strength to get out of the grasp. It looked like Bob Lilly chasing Bob Greasy all those years ago.
Talk about good field position now. If Westlake is unable to get any points out of this, you know Coach Schrader's going to be livid. Travis Reynolds is the punter. 8 yards deep in his end zone, awaiting the snap. Gets it. No pressure at all. Gets his right foot into it. And it's a pretty good punt. Backing up Coleman to the 46. Coleman accelerates up the middle to the 40. And he fielded at the Hayes 46 and took it to the 40. So just a 6-yard return after a 40-yard punt. And Westlake takes over at the Hayes 40-yard line. So, John, they've had good field position a couple times, and they haven't been able to get anything out of it.
Well, we'll see what is there. Now, a throwback screen. You know what? Hayes had I'm forgetting about the screen pass that Hayes ran at the end of the first half. That was very effective. It got everybody influenced one way. The linebackers actually moved and pursued one direction. Then you just turn around, a throwback screen the opposite direction, and that was very, very effective. Now we'll see maybe if Westlake has a play like that in their arsenal.
Furman in, and Bill Walker to the bench. A late substitution. So 2 times in a row, Westlake has gotten it now inside the Rebel end of the field to begin. They had to punt last time, and it was really a nice job by Ray to angle that thing to the 8-yard line. But, you know, Coach Schrader doesn't want a nice punt on this drive.
You can hear the fans trying to get their team into it now.
Campbell in the backfield. They'll toss it to him. Gets a block from Bailey, trying to squirt outside, and he's stopped after a 4-yard loss. He lost the football, but they said the ground caused the fumble. Preston Jordan able to bring him down. A gain of 4.
Everybody seemed to be moving a step slow. It almost seems to be out of frustration. You know, when you've got athletes who are in such great shape and who have been so well trained to do their job, and they can't make their feet work.
Well,
it's got to be very frustrating.
Like, I don't know if it's just me, but this driving missed. It's kind of made the crowd a little bit lethargic. No one's into the game. It's low scoring. There hasn't been a lot of excitement. Toss right, Campbell. Cuts back inside. Campbell inside the 35, down to the 32. 2 yards short of picking up the first down. He picks up 5, and it's Preston Jordan once again on the stop. 3:37 left to play in the 3rd quarter. Game tied at 7.
You know, it'll be interesting to see if they just give Campbell the ball every time on this drive. I mean, you got the ball at the 40 anyway. Now, that's 2 carries. They're down to the 32. I wouldn't be surprised. Just give it to him every time and say, you know what? If you don't want us to score, Hayes, you stop it. He's number 32.
Nearly 3 quarters gone by, and Westlake has yet to complete a pass. Shotgun, Turner Wimberly with backs to either side. Looking to pass, looks right, throws the screen to Garza. Garza down the right sideline, has enough for the first down. And we will go back to the studio and get an update from Aaron Hogan.
Quentin Smith makes the stop, number 37, but not before Garza gets another Westlake first down. Line of scrimmage is now the 28-yard line.
Oh, man, Berger must be awful.
Yeah.
It was awful last week, and we didn't have several days of rain.
We're inside 3 minutes to play in the third, and on first down, the Chaps hand the ball off to Bailey, and Bailey surrounded by white jerseys. Jeff Diaz, the first man in there, he picks up one, but he earned that one, John, because he was wrapped up by about 4 different guys, including Luke McQuaig. We mentioned Diaz. They were all gang tackling.
You like those kinds of runs, but they make you nervous. Bailey showing his strength and determination, refusing to go down. But anytime you get, like we used to call that, posted and folded, anytime somebody's got you, you're prone and you can't move. And, man, you are susceptible to somebody coming in and just drilling you. Or worse yet, somebody popping you from behind and you coughing it up.
Westlake's going to have to hurry to get this thing off. Here's Wimberly, and he pitches it left to Campbell, who's stacked up at the line. No gain on the play on 2nd and long. Preston Jordan again there to make the stop. When Westlake broke the huddle, they had 5 seconds to get the play off, and that makes it advantage defense because they know when the snap is coming.
Absolutely. No, that's an excellent point. Run the clock down like that. Preston Jordan having a terrific football game for the Hayes Rebels. That's about as good a tackle as you're going to see on number 32. Tyler Campbell, very tough to bring down in the open field. Jordan did a nice job of dropping.
93 seconds left to play in the third. Game tied, 7 apiece. Third down and long. The line of scrimmage is the 27 of Hayes. Westlake moving from our left to our right. Slight drizzle behind him. 3 wide receivers, 2 to the right of Turner Wimberly. And Wimberly rolls right. Pressure coming from behind. Pass is caught by Garza. And Garza knocked out of bounds about the 15-yard line. So that is good enough for a first down for the Westlake Chaparrals, a gain of 12. And Craig Taylor jolts him out of bounds.
Just a nice job. The route was just an X, just a crossing pattern there. Thomas and Garza just ran it together. Garza went in motion, then he kind of ran off of Thomas's cut. Did an out move. He was open in the flat. The defenders that time just did a switch, kind of like in basketball. Just hollered switch, but anytime you do that, you're giving up a lot of cushion.
1st and 10 from the Hayes 15-yard line. Bailey in motion to the left. Here's Turner Wimberly. Short drop, looks left, throws back right to Gullah, gets a great block, cuts inside the 10, and he's down to the 7-yard line. Nice block by Justin Bowles, the 240-pound senior, to clear some space, and Ronald Green able to bring down the Westlake receiver.
Now, I don't know if it's coincidence or not, but if you notice, they've gone the last 30 yards or so here almost exclusively to the right side of this right hash mark. I don't know if the footing is better over here, or if they found a defensive liability with the Hayes Rebels that they're trying to exploit. But
2nd down and 3 from the 6-yard line. Walker in motion to the left. And Wimberly hands the ball off to Campbell, takes on a defender, and drives forward inside the 5, has enough for the first down, and it should be 1st and goal coming up after a 4-yard pickup. 33 seconds left to play in the third quarter. And Quentin Smith was the man who got a free ride by Tyler Campbell. So now 1st and goal from the 4-yard line. Play clock at 17 seconds. Gullah runs in the play, tells it to Wimberly. 20 seconds left in the third quarter. Westlake and Hayes tied 7 apiece. Play clock again. Down to 6. Garza, wide right, Gullah in motion. 3 seconds to get the play off. Wimberly takes the snap, fakes the handoff, rolls right, throws to the end zone. Touchdown, Tony Gullah. It looked like Wimberly could have walked it in himself, but being the nice guy that he is, he tossed it out to Gullah, and Gullah hauls it in for the touchdown.
Just ran that route, came off of his motion and just got enough yards to get into the end zone, broke the plane and just ran parallel to the end line. Adam Cuellar, coming up from his cornerback spot, really didn't get there in time. Just a pinpoint throw with a wet football. I really don't know if there would have been a good defense for that. When you've got a man running full speed like that, you've got to hit him in stride.
Big extra point. Gray's kick is up and no good. Wow. I think that was deflected at the line because that thing went straight up in the air and did not sneak across the crossbar. So that has been an issue this season for the Westlake Chaparrals, some extra points. But Westlake gets on the scoreboard. They regain the lead. It's Westlake 13, Hayes 7, and Westlake football continues on 1300 The Zone.
playing Lincoln High over in Abilene. Titus Thompson will be working for Rice as they take on SMU. Alvin Cowan is getting ready to come back as quarterback probably in a couple of weeks at Yale. They play Pennsylvania this weekend. They have lost the last 2 games without Alvin as quarterback.
Here's the kickoff from our left to our right. Calvin Fields in the end zone, and he will take a seat. And Hayes will start from their own 20-yard line back to the touchdown drive.
Well, that's the end of the third quarter as well. So you going to hit it now, or you going to break and come
Let's
back?
keep it here.
Very good. You're the boss. All right. The touchdown drive, and there haven't been many of them, so it's easy to find on my sheet here. 9 plays, 40 yards. It took 4 minutes, 23 seconds to get it done, but a 3-yard touchdown pass from Turner Wimberly to Tony Gulla. The point after try was missed, and you have to wonder about that. 13-7 is our score as we go to the fourth quarter. Let's check in on the field with Chuck Licata.
Guys, it was not deflected by Hayes. Instead, Richard Gray, the Westlake kicker, just told me that the hold was tough. And, you know, the same thing happened on that first extra point by Westlake. It barely crawled over the crossbar. So, obviously, footing problems and maybe handling the ball problems right now in the kicking game.
He hasn't had any problem handling the punts because he's drilled the punts.
We have seen that at every level. In the NFL, they're having trouble with snaps and holds this year. It's amazing.
So Hayes takes over to begin the fourth quarter. They're down 13-7. On the option, Kimbrough will try the right side. No gain at all as Jokovitis and McGinnity combine on the tackle. Well, it looked like he wanted to pitch that thing, John, out to Calvin at the end, but Westlake, again, assignment football, stayed home and made the play.
He did such a nice job of stringing out the option. I mean, option football is run a lot at the high school level. Westlake sees it a lot, mostly with their non-district games, but no, very well schooled, well disciplined. It's going to be tough. You're not going to trick them into anything running option football.
Right side of the field is the left side. The football on the right hash mark. 2nd and 10 from the Hayes 20-yard line. Again, they'll run the triple option. Kimbrough will keep around the left side. Big room. He's got 5-6 yards out to the 26-yard line. And Westlake bit on the fullback dime. And in the triple option, John, maybe you can elaborate on this a little bit, but the first key is the handoff to the fullback.
Well, he's reading the tackle. It's the first thing he's doing is he's reading the tackle to know whether he goes belly or not. But it gets to the fullback. Tackle commits, and he keeps it, and then he's reading the end. Or the linebacker, depending on what kind of an alignment you're going up against. And if the end commits, then he'll pitch it. I don't know if I really did that justice or not, but it's a series of reads and executions.
Throw the slant, and the pass is caught over the middle by Gonzalez. And Gonzalez moves the sticks, and let's go back to that option.
Let's just put it this way.
13.
Let's just put it this way. It's not preconceived what he's going to do. In every essence of the word is a triple option. One of 3 things could happen on every play, and the quarterback doesn't know until he sees how the defense reacts as to what the play is going to end up being. We'll leave it at that.
Okay. Well, that was a much better job. Mayberry in motion. Handoff up the middle to the fullback, Chris Beasley, for a short gain on the play across the 40-yard line. We have 10 minutes left to play. Westlake on top of Hayes, 13-7. Mark Honig, John Medani, and Chuck Licata. Mark Maroney appears to be down on the field riding in pain, so Wilson Thanish will jog out on there. And it gives us an opportunity for this reminder. Tomorrow on the Zone, number 7 Texas takes on number 17 Iowa State. Your pregame coverage begins at 11:30 from Schultz Garden. Then at 12:30, it is Game Day Quarterback with Major Applewhite and Kevin Dunn. And the kickoff at 2:30 from Royal Texas Memorial Stadium right here on the Longhorn Station, AM 1300, The Zone.
As long as we do have some time here, we should also give a special shout out there to Mr. Reese, who's somewhere comfortably in the stands below us. I know he's the guy smiling because Mrs. Reese makes very good cookies.
Yeah, she brought those up.
Makes it, on a night like this when it's wet and cold and not a lot going on, you're not real happy. Nothing like homemade cookies. We appreciate the Reeses for sending those up. They were very, very good. Thank you.
I echo that. And Maroney able to jog off. While we're talking about celebrities in the stands, we should point out that Oscar Award-winning actor Robert Duvall
Yes, he is.
is in the stands.
It's
He's
funny
sitting on the home side, too.
Well, it's funny, we had one of our operatives, ask, well, what are you filming? He says, filming, well, I'm just a Westlake fan. So we had no idea.
Really?
Thought he was in town filming something. He said, no, he gets to as many games
He flew in
as
from L.A. just to scope it out. Out of the wishbone. Second down, 7 yards to go, and flags and whistles. And perhaps a false start on the offense. But it looks like the rain, John, at least from where I'm sitting, and of course we're inside, has let up a little bit. It's not as bad as it was in the first half.
For the snap, false start, offense, 5-yard penalty, second out.
It's just eerie, I think is the word. It's just amazing that it could continue to fall.
And that's our referee, Melvin Lindsay.
It does look like it is not as severe as it was, but it is still falling, and there's still enough moisture there that it's still going to make traction treacherous and the ball slip.
Good alliteration. Handoff. Mayberry is drilled as Donnie Dillard came up from his linebacking position to nail him for a 1-yard loss. So a lot of, as I'd like to say, condescension falling from the sky, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, so third and long. 9:17 left to play in the fourth quarter.
That was a good tackle.
And third down conversions go like this for Hayes on the night. They are 5 of 10. That's pretty good. 50% efficiency on third down.
Yes, it is.
The problem is they've had 10 third downs. And out of the shotgun, it is Kyle Kimbrough, the senior quarterback. 6'1", able to look over the top of his offensive line. Drops back to pass. Pressure coming. Set up the screen and broke it up nicely by Ty Linder. They were looking for Calvin on the left side to try to run that screen to the running back, but Linder able to get his big paw up there and knock it to the ground. It's fourth down for the Hayes Rebels.
And he may have saved a very, very big play right there because the screen was being run to his side. The plan was to let him in, to let him commit and come on in, and then you burn him. Well, he burned them by extending his arms, getting up in the air, and defeating that play before it could get started.
8:54 remaining in the game. 13-7, Westlake on top. And the Chap's about to get the ball back, provided this is a punt and not a fake, and it is, as Reynolds has to go off the side of his foot and bounces at the Westlake 40, takes a Hayes roll inside the 30, and they will kill it dead at the 25-yard line. Let's go downstairs and check in with Chuck Licata.
Mark, you guys were talking about the rain. It's actually getting worse again. It's kind of like the first, this is a mirror image of the first half. It was okay when the game started, okay when the second half started, but now it's picked up a little bit. It's more of a steady drizzle down here, definitely affecting the footing and the handling of the ball.
Okay, Chuck, thank you.
Our engineer, Mike Pirtle, handed me a note which said the rain looks like smoke drifting by. That's probably a little more accurate way to explain it, like fog, like you're in a heavy fog bank and it's just kind of going by.
Update.
Like we're near water somewhere, but that's exactly what it looks like, but a little more menacing than fog because it is wet.
Bill Walker lined up wide receiver to the right, and Garza slot right, and Wimberly hands the ball off to Tyler Campbell, stopped for no gain by Jeff Diaz. Lots of games going on around the area. And for an update on some of them, here's our main guy, Aaron Hogan.
No gain on the play, brings up a second down.
Let's do this play with a London accent, Mark.
I don't have it in me. If we had Chad Hastings here, maybe we could pull that off. Wimberly sends Campbell in motion to the right. Short drop, pump fake, looking across the middle. Throws for Garza, and it is nearly intercepted by Tommy Garcia, who timed that thing perfectly. I thought for a moment like he jumped too soon and mistimed it. Had that been the case, Garza would have been able to take it for a 75-yard touchdown, but he timed it perfectly and knocked it to the ground.
Yeah, a nice defensive play. Garcia has a few words for himself after not being able to come down with it. But you know what? Now that we see the replay here in the booth, give Garza credit for actually getting a fingernail on that and keeping it from being picked off.
Toss right on 3rd and 10, and Campbell stopped at the line of scrimmage. Maybe he picks up a yard. Jeff Diaz again on the stop, along with Travis Reynolds. And the Hayes defense able to hold, and they will get the ball back. A big miss on an extra point in that third quarter after the Chaparrals able to get that touchdown on the pass from Wimberly to Tony Gulla. Richard Gray unable to convert on the point after the touchdown. And Westlake clinging to a 6-point lead. Now Richard Gray will punt, and Ty Calvin back deep to receive. High snap fielded by Gray. He gets his bare foot into it. It bounces at the 48, takes an angled bounce toward the near sideline, and it will be touched up at the Hayes 46. A punt of 28 yards. And now good field position for Hayes.
Well, 7:09 left in the game. Now looking back at the time charts here, the average possession is lasting about 4 minutes. So if Hayes is going to do something, this is going to be either their last or next to last opportunity to mount a drive, an appreciable drive with 7:09 left in the contest. And they're going to have to go about 54 yards, and field goals won't do it.
Well, each team still has 3 timeouts, too. So Hayes used 2 quick timeouts in the first half, but they've held them here in the second half. Out of the wishbone. Fake the handoff. Kimbrough gets a great block behind him, throws across the middle, a perfect strike, but then dropped by the intended receiver, Tristan Mayberry, who would love to have that one back, because that ball was thrown on a rope right between the 2 and the 8, and that's one that you know, if you ask him if he should have caught it, he'll tell you he probably should have.
Yeah, Hayes got away with a holding penalty, too, in the backfield that helped to buy some time. That time for Kimbrough. They're very fortunate not to be flagged. You know, we commented early about the officials getting into the game just a little bit too much. They really haven't been a part of it once the action has started. You know, the illegal substitutions, but other than that, I think a false start here and there, and that's about it.
2nd and 10. Kimbrough fakes the handoff. Pressure from McGinnity. Throws across the middle. Great hit and broken up. Incomplete. As Calvin went out and Jordan Street really hit him hard. And that negated what could have been a 20-yard completion thrown across the middle.
That hit was so hard, he short-circuited our in-house television system. I mean, he made that hit, and all the TVs and all the booths up and down Press Road just started blinking.
Well, it's 3rd down and 10 yards to go. Quickly before this play, let's go downstairs to Chuck Licata.
Hey, Mark, Bill Walker, number 5, was warming up on the sidelines for Westlake. We may see him go in at quarterback when Westlake gets the ball back.
Chuck, thanks. 4 wide receivers, 2 each way. Kimbrough straight back to pass, 5 steps, plenty of time. Throws the ball, and it is incomplete over the head of Mayberry. Double covered there by Michael McGinnity along with Jordan Street.
You know, they're trying everything they can to get Tristan Mayberry. That time they tried to run him off. Again, like in the low post, like basketball, they tried to run him off the screen. And Tristan, I think Mayberry ran that pattern poorly. It looked like that was designed to go straight up the sideline. He ran a little closer to the hash mark, I think, than he would have liked. Then he had to make an awkward adjustment on the ball. If he would have continued his route straight up the field, he might have had a better shot at that.
Well, in his defense also, Mayberry's only 5'9", and some of these passes are thrown to a guy who should be 6'9". And here's the punt by Reynolds. It is a dandy, way up there near the lights, and it goes into the end zone. Well, it was about 3 yards away from being a dandy because it was so long. It went 54 yards, but the net's going to be 34 after the touchback. 6:38 left to play in the game. Westlake 13 and Hayes 7. Well, Emmitt Smith tries to become the NFL's all-time leading rusher this Sunday against the Seahawks. We'll have the game for you on the zone. Beginning at 11:30 from Texas Stadium, then at 3, it is Denver against New England right here on AM 1300 The Zone. Bill Walker is in at quarterback, John.
No, go ahead. I was going to say the fortunate part for Hayes there is they threw the ball twice, incompletion, so the clock stopped. They only lost about a minute on that possession.
Walker from the shotgun, the lefty in the grass and sacked. Welcome to the game, Bill Walker, as Ronald Green able to penetrate and throw him down for a 7-yard loss. So they've gone to Bill Walker.
Well, we haven't called Ronald Green's name unless he's making a spectacular play, but we've said his name about 3 times, and that's 3 too many if you're Westlake.
6:18 left to play in this one. 13-7, we've got a good one here. And Gulla runs the play into Walker. After this play, we're going to head back to the studio and get another scoreboard update. But the clock continues to move, the play clock down to 10 seconds. Walker under center has twins to his left, split backs behind him. Walker turns, hands the ball off, and Campbell is walloped for no gain on the play. And what a hit by Ryan Greason. Back to another hard hitter, Aaron Hogan in the studio.
Campbell gets the handoff. He's met by Ryan Greason, number 75. Walker in at quarterback. Line of scrimmage is now the 13-yard line. Third down, 15.
5:25 left to play in this one. On third and long, it's Walker throwing for Garza, and it's incomplete. That ball was up there for a long time, and Craig Taylor had perfect coverage, and now Westlake forced to punt the ball.
Well, you see what's ahead of this Chaparral football team. They're going to be very well tested. The tough Hayes contest tonight. Then they've got Austin High and San Marcos, those two, who are knotted at 14 presently. This is going to be a very tough stretch for the Chaparrals.
And you wonder if that extra point will come back to haunt them, because we have 5:19 left to go. Hayes looking to get the ball somewhere around midfield as Gray's about to get this punt away from his own goal line. Pressure coming up the middle, and Gray gets it away. End over end, takes a great Chaparral bounce and out of bounds around midfield at the Westlake. Actually, they're going to spot it at the Westlake 47-yard line, so a 30-yard punt, no return though.
This is the time that the Westlake defense, Derek Long's crew, is going to have to grit their teeth and really dig in here. You can hear the fans trying to get a little bit boisterous, stomping their feet, trying to cheer on the defense, because that extra point that was missed does loom large here.
5:13 left to play, 13-7. The Chaps on top of the Hayes Rebels. Westlake has won 64 straight district games. Kyle Kimbrough has really done a nice job controlling this offense for Hayes tonight. Split backs behind him. It's a handoff to Ty Calvin, who's in jail, loses the football, heading out of bounds. And let's see if Westlake pulled it in before going out of bounds. Yes, they did. A huge turn of momentum here, and the Chaps will take over close to midfield. What could have been great field position for Hayes and a chance to tie it up and take the lead has turned into a huge turn of events here as Jokubaitis able to pick it up for Westlake, and the Chaps take over at the midfield stripe.
They ran that sprint draw, and it looked like, it's hard to tell exactly who got a paw in there and poked it out. No, it's not hard to tell. It's exactly who we thought it was going to be. Big number 87, Ty Linder, got his paw in there and poked it out and caused that turnover.
Still Walker in at quarterback, runs the option toss out to Campbell, and Campbell into the waiting arms of Ronald Green for a 2-yard loss. Every time you mention Ronald Green, he's making a big play in this one.
Oh, I think that whistle might have been blown prematurely. Tyler Campbell was still fighting for yards, and he actually got out of that time.
Well, you said the first turnover in the game might decide this thing.
Well, that was a big play, and the timing was just critical. Yeah, I mean, I'm amazed that both teams have done that good a job at holding on to the football, but how ironic that the one turnover that happened could basically lock up the contest.
Bill Walker, the senior quarterback, 3 wide receivers as Campbell goes in motion to the right. And handoff to Slutz. He's belted at the line by Diaz and Greason. And those two guys, it's like target practice out there. Loss of 1. It's 3rd and 14 now. And so Bill Walker comes in, and he's expected almost to be the hero in this thing, John, after Wimberley played for 3.5 quarters.
Well, he doesn't have to be a hero. His team is leading by 6 points. All he has to do is move the chain.
And not make mistakes.
Correct. He's just got to not hurt his team. He's got to find a way to finagle 13 yards here. Again, the screen pass was awfully effective for Hayes in the first half when they needed it. Spread formation now for the Chaps.
4 wide receivers, make that 5 wide receivers. And shotgun for Walker, the lefty. Pump fake in the grasp, and he is dropped back inside the 40-yard line. Zach Miller and Ronald Green threw him down. And they're going to spot it at the Westlake 39-yard line, so it's 4th and about 20 yards to go.
I thought that Hayes very fortunate not to get hit with a face mask that time. It definitely looked to me like Walker might have been grabbed going down. Timeout was called by the Hayes Rebels as they want to try to save some time for what they think will be a drive to perhaps win this ball game.
So much for your theory on them only getting the football one more time. It's about to be the 3rd time since you said that with 3:22 left to go.
Well, had I known one of those drives was going to be one play and, fumble.
You all right? You want some water?
Yeah, no. So popped it up.
All right, so 3:22 left to go. Quickly, your keys to the game. How have they shaken out?
Well, I thought that Hayes needed to run the football. I mean, obviously both teams have done a good job at holding on to the football. That was the big thing. For Westlake, I thought big night for Joey Thomas has not happened. I'm not sure that he's even caught a pass tonight. Established Tyler Campbell, I absolutely think that Westlake has tried to do that. For Hayes, avoid the big play on defense. I think that's happened too. Westlake has not cashed in on a big play offensively. And I thought Hayes needed to run the football. It seems that they're trying, but their most effective weapon has been the quarterback who's been able to run their motion offense, Kyle Kimbrough.
On 4th and 20, Westlake will punt from their own 40-yard line. Actually, Gray will get it away from about his own 30. Remember, this drive started at midfield. And the punt is very low, but there will not be a return as Westlake gets a great bounce as that thing cascades inside the 10. And Joey Thomas will get, I think, his first touch of the game as he downs the punt at the 6-yard line. A 54-yard punt. What a time for that one.
Well, that's a big touch right there, too, because by babysitting the ball and letting it waddle an extra 5 yards, they probably ate an extra 10 seconds off of that clock, and the clock right now is Westlake's friend.
3:05 left to go in the 4th quarter, and Westlake ahead 13-7. Mark Honig, John Medani, Chuck Licata. Our statistician is Thomas Lee, Mike Pirtle pushing the buttons, and Ryan Brooks is our spotter tonight. So Hayes takes over inside their own 10-yard line, moving from our left to our right. A little breeze behind him. Mayberry in motion. Toss left. There's the halfback toss as Calvin throws it back, and the ball is caught for a first down across the 20-yard line. Hauling it in was, I believe, the quarterback, yes, Kyle Kimbrough.
Yep, Kimbrough released and went down the left sideline. A little trickeration here getting in the late stages of the game with the stakes running very high. But give Hayes credit for getting the ball out of the shadow of their own goalpost.
Doesn't there need to be sun to have a shadow?
No.
Do you do with the lights?
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. Football on the left hash from the 22. Hayes moving left to right. Tristan in the backfield. Kimbrough guns it out right. The ball is caught by McKeever, and McKeever is thrown out of bounds at the 37-yard line by Hunter Coleman. Back-to-back first downs for this Hayes Rebel offense. 2:49 left to go.
They have been trying that play. That's the 4th time they've tried that play tonight, and the first time it's worked. The previous 3 times, Yogi Yogabaitis tipped 2 of them away, and I believe it was Ty Linder that got his hands up and tipped away the 3rd attempt. They finally got that play to work.
Now from the Hayes 37. Wide side, the left side. Crowd getting into it. Chap's up by 6 points. Throwing left, intercepted. Hunter Coleman, 35-30, 25-20, and dropped at the 18-yard line by the quarterback, Kyle Kimbrough. Kimbrough may have saved the touchdown, but in the process, he may have turned this football game over to the Chaparrals.
What a great play by Hunter Coleman, and again, Derek Long's defense steps up and makes a play. Just isolating on, I have to wonder, I have to ask though, why Hayes felt it was imperative to throw on every down at that point. They were moving the ball. It looked like they had some time. They could have mixed in a running play there, but they seemed content on selling out to the pass, and just a really good read by Coleman.
Second interception of the season for Hunter Coleman, and he missed 2 games, but he's arguably their defensive leader. Walker from the shotgun, fakes the handoff. He'll keep it around the left side. Gets a great block from Slutz at the 10. The 5 tiptoes the sideline, knocked out of bounds about the 4.5-yard line by Tommy Garcia. And there is a flag down on the play. Gain of 13.
It's just amazing to me, the poise. I guess poise is the only word that I have for it, and I guess it comes from just being tested. It comes from playing in big games. Big game after big game.
Well, it's going to be a hold on the Chaparrals. Here's our ref.
Holding on the offense, 10 yards from the spot of the foul.
And I'm just talking about just to have the wherewithal. I mean, Hayes, you have Hayes from their own 5-yard line. They run 3 consecutive plays, and all of a sudden, certainly the home fans are nervous. You have to wonder how many other people, the Hayes fans are into it, and we're moving this football. And just with the calm and the precision that a great defensive play is made by, just like that, Hunter Coleman, who's missed a lot of time this year, he simply steps in and says, this is where the ball's coming. I've seen this on scout film.
Furman into the lineup for the Westlake Chaparrals. Tight end set up on the right. It's Joey Thomas. They like to look his way here in this part of the field. Walker, pump fake, looks across the middle, throws the fade for Garza, and it's incomplete. Great coverage on the play by Tommy Garcia. That ball was thrown perfectly to the corner, and Coach Schrader told us earlier in the week quickly. That's the favorite pass of Bill Walker, is throwing that fade, but unable to get the touchdown. It was bobbled a little bit and unable to haul it in.
Again, that one looked like it hit him in the chest. Well, actually looked like a fingernail. Might have, as a good defensive play, Tommy Garcia deflected it just a little bit, changed the trajectory.
2nd and 10 from the 17 of Hayes. Campbell in motion to the right. Walker back to pass, in trouble. Walker in the grasp, and Walker is sacked. Back at the 26-yard line. It was Quentin Smith who got him first.
That's tough. That's one where if you're a coach, you just want to tell your quarterback, just, pretty much anything, just don't turn it over and don't take a big loss. If it's not there, simply throw it out of bounds. You don't want to lose any yardage for this field goal.
Timeout Hayes, 2:03 left to go. It's Westlake 13, Hayes 7. Westlake football continues after this.
It's programmed out. We're still looking for program number 1273, but we're going to go ahead and call another number. Program number 1383. If you got program 1383, you got a laser smooth studio gift certificate for $129. Program 1383. Go Westlake! Go Chap!
2 minutes, 3 seconds left. Westlake trying to hang on to a lead. They lead 13-7 and have a critical 3rd down here.
3rd and long. They need about 16 yards. Campbell in motion to the left. Walker pump fake, throwing left for Gullah in the end zone. Broken up. Incomplete. Tommy Garcia again there on the play. This guy's been all over the place here in the second half. Tony Gullah was trying to run down the left sideline and broken up very nicely by Tommy Garcia. And now Richard Gray. And you're a big irony guy, Don. You love using irony,
sure,
and referring to it. He missed the extra point earlier in the half. Granted, it was deflected. He has a chance now to put his team up 16-7 with this field goal attempt. Mark Flood will hold. It is a 41-yard attempt from the left hash, so the kick is angled to the right. Snap was not very good. Gray gets his foot into it, and it is no good. The snap never got down. It was a little bit low, and Flood tried to handle it and get it up for Gray. And these Hayes Rebels are still alive.
Well, they are still alive, and they do have some good athletes. But, again, it's not like it's a tie football game. Westlake does have the benefit of having a lead. Now, I know fans cringe when you say, well, the prevent defense, no, it's too easy to gain yards. Well, sometimes it is, but not when it's wet and it's a little bit chilly and there's a little bit of a wind, a rainy wind in your face. Conditions are not ideal. I think number one for the Westlake safeties is just don't let anybody behind you.
Minute 53 left to go. Hayes has 1 timeout remaining. 1 wide receiver, make that 2 wide receivers to the right and 2 to the left. Kimbrough under pressure from Casper, rolling right, and he will throw on the run into traffic, and it is incomplete, broken up by Koyani and Jordan Street, intended for Ty Calvin. That was one that he came very close to going across the line of scrimmage before attempting that pass.
I agree, which would have been devastating for Hayes because it would have been a loss of down and the yardage.
So now 2nd and 10. Well, you mentioned on their last possession that you were surprised that they were trying to pass on every down. Right now they have it at their own 24. And they can run the football, but they're going to have to put it up here, John. Kimbrough rolling left and throws it outside. The ball is caught by McKeever, inbounds, and then he steps out of bounds for a 1st down, gain of 13. Hunter Coleman able to push McKeever out of bounds.
That's a great route. They're going to huddle up very quickly to get instructions from the coaches on the sidelines. That's one of the benefits of running a route that ends on your side of the field.
Well, you're right about that. You can go over there and talk to your coach.
Well, makes things run a lot quicker, that's for sure.
Line of scrimmage is the Hayes 37 from the left hash. Kimbrough fakes the handoff. No one bid on that one. Throws across the middle, incomplete, and nearly picked. It was intended for Gabe Gonzalez, went off his fingertips. Ball was thrown a little bit high, but it falls incomplete.
And the coaches Coaches die 1,000 deaths with all these. I mean, ultimately, it's just kids. It's just humans. And, the ball hits the receiver. You draw it up, hits him in the hands, squirt.
Check that. It was Steven Daggs, the intended receiver, not Gabe Gonzalez.
Ball falls harmlessly to earth, and coaches just die a little inside.
Yeah, there are a couple heart attacks there. 4 wide receiver package. And Kimbrough from the shotgun. 2nd and 10, 91 seconds left to play. Kimbrough, pressure coming up the middle, throwing right and incomplete. He just threw that thing away. Pressure coming right up the gut from Yogi Yokubaitis. They were coming on the blitz. Also, Michael McGinnity applying some pressure. Minute 25 left to go. It's now 3rd and 10, John.
It's a good idea. Kimbrough's starting to look a little bit comfortable back there, and that's the last thing you want for the opposing quarterback to be as comfortable. So looked like almost a little delayed blitz, like one Mississippi, and then McGinnity and Linder came hard. So it worked out very well for the Chaps that time.
McKeever wide right, Daggs in the slot. Kimbrough rolling right, pressure coming. Pockets collapsing. Kimbrough throws off his back foot, out of bounds, and incomplete. The receiver was Chris Beasley, but credit Bob Casper on that because he was right in the face of Kimbrough and did not give him a good passing angle. It is now 4th down, and John, this could be your football game.
Casper got through 2. I don't know what the blockers were doing there. They were, that's as protected as you can get. You've got 2 guys with you. Casper just knifed right through both of them.
Well, Kimbrough on the night, 8 of 25, 144 yards, but this next pass attempt will be, without question, his biggest of the game. 4 wide receivers, 2 each way. Kimbrough looking to pass, throws across the middle, high, but caught, and slipping free is Dylan Jones all the way inside the 25, inside the 20. 68 seconds left to go. A huge play for the Hayes Rebels as they pick up 43 yards on 4th and 10.
Amazing. Absolute guy that has caught 14 passes all year comes up with a big catch.
And the clock stops as they move the chains, as everybody was set up except for the chain gang. And these guys, aren't in the best shape in the world, so they're running, and now they spike the ball and kill the clock with 66 seconds left to go.
Now, I don't believe what Hayes had to use that timeout that they started the possession with, so they still have 1 timeout left. It's a minute and 6 seconds to play in the ball game. Westlake to reset leads Hayes 13-7. Hayes has the ball, a 2nd and 10 from the Westlake 19-yard line.
Well, this is huge.
The first down was buried into the turf to stop the clock.
A field goal does them nothing. They need a touchdown and an extra point. 3 wide receivers, 2 to the right. Kimbrough looking left, throws to the end zone, into coverage, and batted away. Nearly a touchdown. It was intended for Dylan Jones, but great coverage from Street and also Landry Clark. One guy who had a better look at it was our own Chuck Licata.
Boy, I'll tell you what, Mark, great defense by Jordan Street that time because the receiver, Kimbrough, or Dylan Jones rather, got behind the 2 Westlake defenders, but fortunately, Street able to get his hands on the ball and knock it away.
Now 3rd and 10. From the Westlake 19-yard line, 61 seconds left to go. 4 wideouts. Kimbrough, blitz coming, throws the slant, incomplete off the hands of McKeever. Well, it seems like Kimbrough's at his best on 4th down, John, and that's what we're about to see. 57 seconds left to play. 4th and 10, they need the first down. They would have to get to about the 9.5-yard line to move the sticks.
2 fantastic high school football teams. It's a heavyweight fight.
Dylan Jones, flank to the left. McKeever to the right. Daggs in the slot. Kimbrough rolling right. Pressure coming. Throws across the middle. Too high. Intercepted. Picked off by the Westlake Chaparrals. It's Jordan Street zigzagging across the field, out across the 35. Stopped somewhere around the 40. The Westlake crowd celebrates on the near sideline. And there is a flag down on the play. So hold everything, but I think that's post-possession.
Right. That's going to be unsportsmanlike against the Hayes player.
Downstairs to Chuck Licata. Chuck?
Mark, the pass was intended for Steven Daggs cutting across the middle, and the pass was way over his head, and Jordan Street playing center fielder got the ball about 10 yards past Daggs, caught it right on the end line, and that is going to be a post-possession penalty on Westlake.
Dead ball, personal foul, and the white team, 15 yards, first down.
That's our ref, Melvin Lindsay, and I think he almost called the player's number there, John.
Yeah, he almost
did.
This
in the pros.
Jordan Street with what I believe is his 5th interception.
Yeah, it's his 4th. No, his 5th. You're right.
I think it's his 5th interception this year. That is a guy that always seems to be in the right place at the right time when it counts most, and he was there again. This thing is not over. I mean, 43 seconds, and a wet ball is a wet ball, so let's not say it's over till it's over.
Well, Hayes only has 1 timeout remaining, so they'll take a knee. And they're going to go backwards on this drive, and they don't care. The Westlake crowd on its feet, everyone excited because the Chaps, their win streak of district ball games that they have won is at 64, and they are 28 seconds away from it going to 65 straight district games. And the clock continues to move.
Hayes almost came in here and did something that hadn't been done in 12 years. I mean, this was a playoff football game. It really had a great atmosphere.
Another kneel for the quarterback, Bill Walker. And that's going to do it. The last play of this one. 4 seconds left to go. The clock continues to wind down, and that's going to do it. Our final score in a dandy from Chaparral Stadium, Westlake 13 and Hayes 7 for a team that was 3-4 coming into this one, 1-3 in District 25-5A. The Hayes Rebels gave Westlake all they bargained for.
Well, you can call them 3-4 all you want. That 3-4 does not describe Bob Shelton's program. They are the Hayes Rebels, regardless of what their record is, and you knew that they were going to come in here and fight. They absolutely did. They got their respect early. Westlake was up against the wall, and Westlake's defense, can't say enough about them. I think that's the 3rd time this year that I've commented about the defense in the kicking game. The defense for Westlake is stout. They're going to be formidable against anybody they go to.
Well, let's go downstairs and check Licata with a very relieved, I would imagine, Ron Schrader.
Mark, I think you're right. Coach Schrader, for the fans and the media, a great classic fall football game. For you, probably a little bit closer than you wanted, especially towards the end, right?
It's all in a day's work. You know, we played and scrimmaged Hayes so many times. And, you know, defensively, they did a great job. They have some real strong physical kids. You know, we kind of got off track there in the first half with the rain, but, you know, then the rain let up the second half, you know. And, you know, Coach Derek Long, defensive coordinator, you know, been here for 4 state championship games, did a great job at getting our defense ready, you know, and we you know, our 2 inside linebackers, especially Donnie Diller and Yogi Yokovitis, you know, really did an outstanding job. And you know, Hayes came up with some big plays there to make it exciting. But, you know, we just had a hard time blocking them, you know, and that makes it tough. And, you know, people say, you know, defense wins championships. Well, that was a true example tonight.
Tell you what, you probably had to get the oxygen tank after they converted on that 4th and 10. They went 43 yards, put themselves in a great shot to score, but the defense comes up big with the interception.
Well, you know, high school football is amazing, you know, and it's hard, you know, and you know, the Hayes kids work very hard. You know, they're very strong. You can tell they're very strong from the weight room, and we had a tough time blocking them. You know, we had a, you know, we just had a hard time hitting in the passing game. You know, we overthrew some passes early, but you know, at the same time, you have to give Hayes a lot of credit. But then at the same time, you have to give our defense, because our defense, you have to give our defense a game ball, because they did a tremendous job.
Coach, congratulations. Good luck. Austin next week, correct?
Yeah. Well, you know, we got 2 more tough ones. You know, and it'll be interesting. Should be some fun games.
All right, Coach. Thanks a lot, and good luck getting ready for Austin. Guys, tell you what, this is Hayes' first road loss this year, but for Westlake, it's, I believe, consecutive district win number 65.
Chuck, you're right about that, and they survived this one in order to get the win, but they're still perfect in district play this season, now 5-0 in District 25-5A, while the Hayes Rebels dropped to 1-4. The number that really matters, the final score, Westlake 13, Hayes 7, and we're back to Chaparral Stadium right after this.